Konnichiwa! Press the bell icon and never miss a video from Anime Lord Senpai.
This video is sponsored by Black Desert Online. For those who don't know, Black Desert Online is an open-world action MMORPG with a beautifully designed, open, seamless world with no loading screens at all and featuring crisp HD graphics. It has the best combat system of any currently available MMORPG. You can experience skill-based action combat. Black Desert Online has the most fully developed character customization of any game that is currently on the market. You can make unique characters that are truly representative of each and every player, and you can choose from 20 diverse classes, each having unique skills and abilities. With a new class, Hashashin, being added in the latest update, who can manipulate sandstorms with the power of the native Valencian god. He engages in melee combat with the Shamshir as his main weapon, and also wields the sandstorms to quickly escape from danger or suppress his opponents. You can get a 7-day free trial by clicking on the link in the description. Now enjoy the video. Coming in at number 10, we have Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest. The orderly life of 17-year-old otaku Nagumo is disrupted when he and his classmates are summoned to a fantasy world and tasked with saving mankind. While his classmates are gifted with impressive abilities useful in combat, Nagumo is belittled for only gaining an inferior transmutation skill that lacks any real offensive power. During an expedition in the Great Orcus Labyrinth, Nagumo is betrayed by one of his classmates, plummeting him to the bottom of an abyss. Though he survives the fall, Nagumo is faced with menacing monsters and misfortunes that send him spiraling into a grim nightmare. Desperate to live and return home one day, he resolves to fight for his survival, only to meet an imprisoned vampire he names Yu, who is also seeking to escape the labyrinth. Taking an interest in him, Yu and a few others accompany Nagumo on his journey to find a way back home, while steadily transforming from commonplace to the world's strongest. Coming in at number 9, we have Bloodlad, which follows Stas and Fuyumi, soon joined by the spatial magician Bell and a half-werewolf as they travel to find magic that can bring humans back to life. Stas is a powerful vampire who rules the eastern district of the demon world. According to rumors, he's a bloodthirsty and merciless monster, but in reality, Stas is just an otaku obsessed with Japanese culture and completely uninterested in human blood. Leaving the management of his entire territory to his underlings, Stas spends his days lazing around, indulging in anime, manga, and games. When Fuyumi Yanagi, a Japanese girl, accidentally wanders through a portal leading into the demon world, Stas is overjoyed. But just as he's starting to feel an unusual attraction to her, his territory is attacked, resulting in Fuyumi's untimely death. She turns into a wandering ghost, and the crestfallen Stas vows to resurrect her, as this would mean being able to travel to the human world, something he has always dreamed of. Coming in at number 8 is Hinamaru Sumo. Hinamaru Ushio is a young sumo wrestler that is incredibly talented and hardworking, but sadly does not meet the requirements to be a pro sumo wrestler. This small boy has big dreams of reaching the highest class of sumo, Hinoshita Kaizan. The only way he can possibly go pro is if he becomes the high school Yokozuna, a title given to the strongest wrestler in high school tournaments. Ushio is under a lot of pressure as well as a time limit. If he can't show off his skills in high school tournaments, he may lose his chance to go pro permanently, and the odds are stacked against him. Instead of enrolling at Ishigami High, the best school for sumo in Japan, he enrolls at Adachi High and must build a sumo club from the ground up with only one other member, Shinya Ozeki. Adachi High is the true underdog of the sumo world, but Ushio has to push forward with all his strength if he's going to make it professionally. Coming in at number 7 is K-Project. Kings are individuals who have been bestowed with incredibly supernatural powers and granted the ability to recruit others into their clans. Protecting the lives and honor of their clansmen is an integral part of the king's duties. After a video depicting the heinous murder of a Red Klansman goes viral, the unassuming student Yashiro Asana is accused of homicide. Now, a manhunt is underway for his head, bringing him into contact with the famous Black Dog, Kuro Yatagami, a skilled swordsman and martial artist determined to follow the wishes of his late master, the 7th King. Meanwhile, the current Red King Makoto Su faces his own imminent demise as the search for Yashiro narrows. But during Yoshiro's struggle to prove his innocence, a greater conspiracy is unraveling behind the scenes. Clouds begin to appear in his memory, and close friends start to question his very existence. What began as a simple murder is now leading towards a full-blown war between kings with the very fate of the world at stake. At number 6, we have Byungo's Strange Dogs. Atsushi Nakajima's orphanage has been plagued by a mysterious tiger that he only seems to be aware of. Suspected to be behind the strange incidents, the 18-year-old is abruptly kicked out of the orphanage and left hungry, homeless, and wandering the city. Now he has no place to go and no food. While he is there standing by a river on the brink of starvation, he rescues a man whimsically attempting suicide. That man, named Osamu, and he and his partner Kunekida are members of a very special detective agency. They have supernatural powers and deal with cases that are too dangerous for the police or the military. They're tracking down a tiger that has appeared in the recent city area. The tiger seems to have a connection to Atsushi, and by the time the case is solved, it is clear that Atsushi's future will involve much more of Dazai and the rest of the detectives. At number 5, we have World Trigger. When a gate to another world suddenly opens on Earth, Mikado City is invaded by strange creatures known as neighbors, malicious beings impervious to traditional weaponry. In response to their arrival, an organization called the Border Defense Agency has been established to combat the neighbor menace through special weapons called triggers. Even though several years have passed after the gate first opened, neighbors are still a threat and members of the board remain on guard to ensure the safety of the planet. Despite this delicate situation, members in training such as Osamu and Mikumo are not permitted to use their triggers outside of headquarters. But when the mysterious new students in his class is dragged into a forbidden area for bullies, they're attacked by neighbors and Osamu has no chance but to do what he believes is right. Much to his surprise, however, the transfer student Yuma Kuga makes short work of the aliens, revealing that he is a humanoid neighbor in disguise. Coming in at number 4, we have Nura, Rise of the Yokai Clan. Rikyu Nura, a part yokai and part human boy who grew up as the young master of the Nura clan, prizing yokai of all shapes and sizes, Rikyu treated the clan like family. However, he learned that he was the only one amongst his class who saw them this way. To most, they were terrifying creatures of folklore who ate children and relished in bloodshed. Taking this to heart, he swore to live his life as a normal human. However, it's hard to come by for Rikyu. Complicating his goal are a yokai attendant, who under the name Sura Akawa goes to school alongside him, with friends Yura and his close friend Kitsuga, who idolizes yokai and hopes to prove their existence. To make matters worse, rival yokai and other entities threaten to harm those Rikyu hold dear. If he wants to protect what's important to him, he must acknowledge his ancestry, that is to say that he is the grandson of the legendary Nurahyun, and transform at night into a yokai, becoming worthy of being the next leader of the Nura clan. Coming in at number 3, we have Gurren Lagann. Simon and Kamana were born and raised in a deep underground village hidden from the fabled surface. Kamana is a free-spirited, loose cannon hell-bent on making a name for himself, while Simon is a timid young boy with no real aspirations. One day, while excavating the earth, Simon stumbles upon a mysterious object that turns out to be the ignition key to an ancient artifact of war, which the duo dubs Lagann. Using their new weapon, Simon and Kamana fend off a surprise attack from the surface with the help of Yoko, a hot-blooded redhead wielding a massive gun who wanders the world above. After that, they set off on a journey alongside Yoko to explore the surface of the world. Soon, they joined the fight against the Beastmen, humanoid creatures that terrorize the remnants of humanity and powerful robots called gunmen. Although they face some challenges and setbacks, the trio bravely fight these new enemies alongside other survivors to reclaim the surface, while slowly unraveling a galaxy-sized mystery. Coming in at number 2, we have Parasite the Maxim. All of a sudden, a parasitic alien that descends upon Earth and quickly infiltrates humanity by burrowing into the brains of vulnerable targets. These insatiable beings acquire full control of their host and are able to morph into a variety of forms in order to feed an unsuspecting prey. A male 17-year-old student named Shinichi Izumi, who lives with his mother and father in a quiet neighborhood in Tokyo, Japan. One parasite attempts to crawl into Izumi's nose to take over his brain while he sleeps, but fails as Izumi wakes up and enters his body by burrowing into his right hand instead. Because Shinichi was able to prevent Migi from traveling further up into his brain, both beings retain their separate intellect and personality. As the duo encounters over parasites, now named Migi has no choice but to rely on Shinichi in order to stay alive. Thus, the pair is forced into an uneasy coexistence and must defend themselves from hostile parasites that hope to eradicate this new threat to their species. Coming in at number 1, we have Tower of God. 25th Bam has been alone his whole life, until he met Rachel. Now, however, Rachel is set on climbing the tower and she's willing to leave Bam behind to do so. After Rachel disappears in a veil of light, Bam follows her, vowing to ascend the tower in hopes of meeting her once again. But the tower is a dangerous place full of ancient secrets, fearsome monsters, and nefarious humans. Each floor is protected by an administrator who puts the daring challengers through grueling tests that will push them to their limits. As he confronts Hedon, the administrator of the first floor, Bam learns that he is an irregular, someone who was not chosen by the tower but was able to enter it on his own, an extremely rare event inside the tower. Regardless of this revelation, however, his path forward is clear. Be it wealth, power, glory, or even reuniting with Rachel, all desires will be realized at the top of the tower.